Okay, welcome back. Last time we ran through my favourite Pokemon of Gen 4, and this one is one of the big ones. Because not only does it have the most Pokemon out of any Dex, it is also probably... No, I say probably. It is my favourite generation of Pokemon. So today we are handling Generation 5, which is Black, White, Black 2, White 2. So, let's go and just start things up with normal types. I have to scroll down now. This is wild. Okay, so we have Watchog, Stoutland, Unpheasant, Ordino, Cinccino, Dealing, Sawsbuck, Bouffalont, Braviary is my options. Sorry, Mallow, it ain't gonna be you. I'm gonna be honest, if this comes down to Bouffalont or Stoutland, Braviary might win for flying types. Braviary is like there in the back of my mind for this. But I'm gonna have to give this to Stoutland, primarily because it's mostly a thing of availability, you know? It's like, Bouffalont's kinda cool, but it's like, it's way too slow, and you get access to it way too late in the game. You get access to it on the route to the Elite Four. It's like on Route 10, and then it's on Route 10 in Black and White 1, and in fact, I think it's like Route 23 in Black and White 2, and it's like, they are right next to Victory Road. It's like, that's kinda too late to introduce them, and also Bouffalont's just really slow. And then, much like with Staraptor and, actually, I guess even Luxray in previous gen, Stoutland gets Intimidate, so it works with that, and also it gets a very good move pool variety. So I think Stoutland is a very, very solid pick for my favourite normal type up here. So, moving on to Fire. So, Volcarona is out. Actually, Volcarona technically isn't a legendary, but I'm going to count it like it is one. Volcarona wasn't going to win anyway, though. Reshiram is also out. I think Emboar might win for fighting type. And Chandelure more than likely wins for ghost type. So I think Darmanitan is my pick here. However, I will note, I don't hate Simisear. I think Simisear, it looks kinda goofy, and it gets a really bad rap, but I don't dislike Simisear. I wish it was more good, I wish it was better, but I don't hate it. Like, it's a perfectly existing Pokemon, I suppose. Okay, moving on to Water type. Actually, no, wait, I didn't even say why it's Darmanitan. It's Darmanitan because it hits like a train, and also I think its design is kind of fun. I'll be honest, to this day, I've never used Zen mode Darmanitan. Not once. Okay, so Water types. Simipour is kinda cool. Jellicent, no. Alomomola, no. Swanna, no. Basculin, no. Seismitoad, no. Caracosta, no. I'll be honest, this comes down to two picks, and it's Samurott or Duart, and I think I like Duart just a little bit more. I think I like Duart more than I like Samurott, because I like how Samurott, I think it's meant to like pull the swords like from its armor, but I like how Duart just kind of has the Scalp Chops like by its side, so it can always just pull them and be ready for a fight. But I don't dislike either. Do I like Duart more though? Because Samurott also has like the cool horn, and it has like all the armor. I'm gonna tentatively say Duart, but I might switch it over to Samurott after I give it a bit more thought. Okay, Gen 5 grass types. So let's see here. There's a lot more of these than I think there are. Okay, it's not Virizion, it's not Ferroseed or Ferrothorn, it's not Amoonguss, it's not Dealing or Sawsbuck. I'm just gonna stop dancing around it. It's Lilligant. My pick for this is Lilligant, and I definitely think Lilligant has issues. It has issues. It primarily, basically only really gets grass moves. but at the same time, I just really like its design. Like, it has my favorite design out of... Actually, it's like one of my favorite grass type it's one of my favorite grass type designs in general. Have a special mention to Serperior, because Serperior looks super sick. I also like shiny. I like the shiny for Lilligant as well. Oh, well, like some of the leaves turn pink and blue. I think that's a really nice look for it. But yeah, Lilligant, favorite grass type in Gen 5. There's a reason why in my playthrough I caught, like when I caught a Cottony, I went and traded it for a Petilil. And then because I did a stupid thing, I managed to get it killed before I could actually get it to become a Lilligant. But I would have loved to have been able to use a Lilligant in the playthrough. But hey, who knows? There's always Black and White too, isn't there? Okay, moving on to electric types. Now, it's not Emolga, it's not Stunfisk, and these are legendaries. So now this comes down to one choice and one choice only. And that is... Okay, so more accurately, this choice is directly tied to the bug type choice. Because if Galvantula doesn't win for bug, if Galvantula doesn't win bug, it wins electric. If Galvantula does win bug, Electros probably wins. But like, Electros and Zebstrika are like right next to each other for me. But I think Electros is definitely, like, in a few ways, a better Pokemon, I think. Because it basically doesn't have a weakness, being an electric type that has Levitate naturally. But at the same time, getting one is kind of a hassle. Because, like, you need to get a Tynamo, then you need to get to, like, level 41 or something to become electric, and then you need a Thunderstone to become Electros. Whereas Blitzle and Zebstrika is just like, you level up. Actually, you can even just go and catch a wild Zebstrika. But I don't know. I think I'm going to say Zebstrika, but it could be Electros. They're about even for me, I think. I will say, however, moving on to ice types, Gen 5 was not the best time in the world for ice types. So I'm not even gonna answer any of the others. It's Vanilluxe. Like, one, it's basically the only one that I care about, really. I think Cubchew's cute. I'm not a massive fan of Beartic and Cryogonal. Look, Gen 5 is my favorite generation. Even I don't care about Cryogonal. Like, people meme on Garbodor, meme on Cryogonal. Like, Cryogonal is worse than Garbodor ever was. But no, it's all about Vanilluxe. Vanilluxe is cute, it's strong. Like, actually, you have to see me have one in my playthrough of Pokemon Black. It went really well. I kind of feel bad for the way it died, but hey, I liked having it on my team. It's it's a Pokemon that if I was asked, hey, what's your favorite ice type? It's not going to be immediately coming to mind. But it is an ice type that I like. And, well, that's what this comes down to. Okay, moving on to fighting types. These are all legendaries, so these are disqualified. I'll be honest, Conkeldurr's kind of cool, but I don't really like it all that much. It's like, I don't know. I'll come back to Conkeldurr. Mienfoo and Mienshao, I've never really used them very much. I like the idea of them, I think they look cool, but not the biggest fan. I'll be honest, I don't really like Scrafty. Like, what is Scrafty supposed to be? Because, like, because it seems to have, like, it's not a mane, what's the term for it? Like, it has the thing, like, that a rooster seems to have, but it also has, like, this weird, like, scarf and pants combo that's made of, like, skin. It's weird, and I don't like it very much. Which is honestly kind of a shame, because I do love me some dark types. And also, it also has a just ridiculous move pool. It learns so much stuff. It's so variable. Sawk and Fro, I don't have any issues with. I wish they were kind of more readily available, but like, they're just kind of Pokemon that are there, you know? But, like, they're not the best, but they're not the worst. And from a visual design perspective, I like how Timber, Gerda, Conkelda, I like how from there you can clearly see, as it grows, it is becoming more powerful. You can see that it is becoming stronger. But it's got, like, the entire line has the, like, weird thing that it's like the same thing that Machoke has, but, like, to an extreme. Where it's like, hey, like, how much muscle do you want to see on this Pokemon? It's like, okay, this now just looks weird. And it gets even worse when it's a shiny. Because, like, okay, now it's just, like, bright red as well. I don't know, that part of the visual designs always kind of irks me a little bit about the Conkelda line, or the Timber line, I guess more accurately. And either way, I just like Emboar more. Emboar is, well, it's good. I remember I did kind of just laugh off Tepig for a while, but I actually used Emboar in Black and White too. Like, it's good in Black and White. I think it's great in Black and White too. I might be wrong on that, but I think it's mostly because you get access to a place. But there's one guy who'll give you like 10 red shards, so you can basically get an elemental punch for free. And yeah, Emboar is probably gonna... When I do Black and White 2 eventually, if I don't do it randomized, yeah, Emboar will more than likely be my starter Pokemon. Well, Tepig. Anyway, moving on to Poison type. Okay, so it is Amoonguss, Garbodor, or Scolipede. It's just gonna be Scolipede, isn't it? Like, I don't dislike Garbodor, but I've never sat down and actually used one in a playthrough. I've sat down and used Scolipede in a playthrough, and it's really good. If there were 3 types Gen 5 was very kind to, it was Dark, Steel, and Bug. And, well, Scolipede wins in Poison, which means it's not gonna win in Bug, but it would be making a very, very strong argument for itself in the Bug type category. Okay, so, like, I know, Scolipede looks cool. Like, it looks cool. I think its shiny is absolutely sick. I love its shiny. Like, how it becomes red and green. I guess that's red and, like, a light blue, I guess. But still, it looks really cool as a shiny. I really like it. And, yeah, big recommend on Scolipede. And this is before it even gets Speed Boost as its hidden ability. Okay, so, Ground type. This is a 2-horse race. This is between Excadrill and Krookodile. And as much as I like Excadrill, I think it's cool. I think it's super powerful. I know it's super powerful. It's fast. It's very reliable in an in-game playthrough scenario. But Krookodile wins because it was the first Pokemon from a Generation 5 that I trained all the way up to level 100. It was there. Like, I found a Sandile on Route 4 in my first playthrough, and that Sandile was on the team until long after those credits rolled. Like, Krookodile is a top 5 ground type for me, probably, and it's probably a top 5 or top 10 ground type and a top 5, top 10 dark type for me. That is the regard I hold Krookodile in. I was so glad I could actually have one on my team in the playthrough, even though the way it went out was perhaps a little less than I would have liked. But at the end of the day, I guess it maybe saved the entire game, so I can't really complain too much, aside from the fact that, you know, I did still manage to lose it. Okay, so, flying types. Time to bring out the birds. What do we have here? So, these are legendaries, these are out. It's not going to be Mandibuzz. It's not Mandibuzz. I don't really like it. I don't really like Vullaby either. I like Mandibuzz a lot more than I like Vullaby. I don't like the weird, I don't like the kind of, shell diaper that it has. It looks weird, and I don't like it. I really like Braviary, because it's, a massive eagle, and I think that looks super cool. I also love how the first time there was a mainline Pokemon game that's this region is based on the US. It's just massive eagle Pokemon. I think, you know what, they understood the mission statement, you know? I think Swoobat is kind of underrated though. But Swoobat, I think, is underrated, but it's probably like top 4 or 5. Sigilyph is really cool, and Archeops is probably gonna win for rock types. So I'm gonna have to give this to Braviary. Because, well, didn't win for normal types because Stoutland was there. But, well, Braviary, it does suffer from a severe problem, and that is you get it at level 54. So you will get it in post-game in Black and White. And also, like, Rufflet is on the route where Bouffalon is. But this isn't about specifically Black and White, because this also includes Black and White 2, in which you can find, this also applies to Mandibuzz, on, I forget which game is which, but on Mondays and Thursdays in one of the games. It's like, one is in each, obviously. Mandibuzz is in black, Braviary is in white. And depending on, and basically, you can find a wild Mandibuzz or Braviary. And it's like level 25. And that is super good. It's available pretty early on, like you get it after the 3rd gym, like between gym 3 and 4. Kind of funny how you get access to it, like right before the electric gym, but hey, here we are. And also, Braviary is a Pokemon that I just really like the design for. Like, it is a very cool eagle Pokemon, and yeah, it's one of my favorite flying types. Obviously, it doesn't count as like the Route 1 bird, because it's like the end game bird, but still. Now that I look at them side by side, Braviary is like the eagle, but I think Staraptor probably wins. I think I like Staraptor more than Braviary, but from a visual perspective, Braviary is probably up there with my favorite flying types. And also, just for like Gen 5 flying types in general, it's a winner. Okay, moving on to Psychic. It's not going to be Munna or Moshana, because, I'll be honest, I thought they were really cool the first time I saw them, and now I'm just kind of, oh, it's this thing again, great. Swoobat, as I already said, is okay. Zenmode Darmanitan, I'm not really gonna count that, but also it wouldn't win anyway, because I've never used it. Gothitelle is okay, but it's not my big favorite. Once again, Sigilyph is a Pokemon that I do enjoy. I want to know more about Sigilyph's lore, basically. Sigilyph is a Pokemon I want to know the lore about. Because, like, hey, it's like, okay, we know they are meant to be, like, the guardians of this ancient city. That is where the Relic Castle and Desert Resort now are. But I want to know more about that. You know, if we ever get a Legends Unova, I will probably play that day 1. Maybe not day 1, but whatever. I still need to play Legends Arceus. I'm really bad at being behind on games, that's okay. And then we have Reuniclus. Oh, also, Beheeyem is there as well. But no, it's Reuniclus. Reuniclus is a very cool Pokemon. I love the idea for it. Because I love how it starts as, like, the single cell organism. Then, like, through mitosis and everything, it basically gets bigger to become Duosion. And then it finally becomes Reuniclus. It is so slow, but it hits so hard. Like, Reuniclus is one of my favorites. And, yeah, big fan. Big fan for Reuniclus. Moving on to one of the big ones. I say one of the big ones because this is a very tough call to make. Fortunately, because of the options around it, I can make this choice a bit easier on myself. Because, obviously, Scolipede is already out because of poison. And Durant might end up going into Steel. No, Durant won't go into Steel. But I do now. Okay, now I've narrowed it down to a thing. I've narrowed it down to one question, and that is, which Pokemon do I like more, Zebstrika or Durant? And I think the answer is Durant, because it's like Durant is fast, it's strong, it's got pretty okay physical defense. It's got pretty solid move variety, and, like, And it isn't a Pokemon that you need to evolve, so it being available super late doesn't really impact it too hard. So you get it super late in the game, like you find it in Victory Road. And, yeah, you find it in Victory Road. And I think you can get it on, oh, where is it? It's the route on the way to near Terminus Cave, I think in X and Y. That's the last time I remember being able to catch one in the wild. I'm sure you might be able to find one somewhere in Sun and Moon, but I'm just forgetting. But yeah, I think I like Durant more than I like Zebstrika, so I'm going to give Bug-type to Durant, and I'll move Galvantula to the Electric-type place. Because now, I think that also works, and Galvantula, I don't think I need to give an explanation for Galvantula, but I will anyway. Galvantula is a super cool electric spider. I'm not the biggest spider person, but I think Galvantula is super cool. It's fast, it's strong, it does tons of damage. If you saw Goma in my playthrough of Pokemon Black, it stayed on the team for pretty much the entire time. Like, I added it, and it was never in danger. Maybe because I always kept it out of danger, but also whenever it came in, you knew it was going to be doing some damage. That or I needed to pivot, because I had the Volt Switch. And yeah, I just love Galvantula. It is easily one of my favorite electric types, and easily one of my favorite bug types. So, moving on, Rock type. Okay, Terrakion is out. I do like Crustle. I think Crustle is underappreciated. I think Gigalith is really cool. Big fan of Gigalith. Especially after that last playthrough that I just did. Like, I'd always kind of just been meh on Gigalith. I thought it was cool, but I never really used it. And honestly, now I'm much happier about it. I think it's definitely grown on me a lot. Similarly, Tortuga is really cool. Caracosta is very good on, like, in theory. Because, like, yeah, it's quad weak to grass, but at the same time, it also gets sturdy Shell Smash, or Swift Swim Shell Smash. So, like, it has potential to do a lot of damage. And it's also pretty bulky naturally. So, Caracosta is good, but let's be real, I'm not gonna joke around it. It's Archeops. It's obviously gonna be Archeops. Archeops is super fast, super strong, incredibly unique. Genuinely, the only thing that holds Archeops back is Defeatist, and I don't even think Defeatist is that much of an issue, because realistically, it is a phenomenal glass cannon of a Pokemon. Like, chances are, Archeops isn't really going to be a Pokemon to take hits anyway, so, like, it's gonna do Archeops hits the field with one thing in mind and one thing only: damage. And it has that in spades. And it gets so much move pool variety. It gets Acrobatics, it gets Crunch, it gets Rock Slide, Stone Edge, Earthquake, Dragon Claw. And honestly, you probably don't even need more than that. You probably don't need more than that, but it has more than that. And also, it's just really cool. It's up there with the best fossil Pokemon. It's up there with the best rock types. Okay, so moving on to Ghosts. And, okay, it's not going to be Jellicent or Frillish. It's not going to be Golurk. Actually, I will pick Golurk just really quickly to show it's shiny. Because shiny Golurk is absolutely sick. I love shiny Golurk. But it's not shiny. Well, it's not Golurk. And credit where it's due, I do think that Cofagrigus is a very cool Pokemon. I love the design for Cofagrigus. Like, yeah, it's kind of simple. It's just, like, a sarcophagus with evil eyes and ghost hands coming out of it. But, like, yeah, it's Chandelure. It has to be Chandelure. Mostly because, I'll be honest, when I first saw the Candle Pokemon, I didn't think it would be... Like, I did not have high hopes when I first saw the Candle Pokemon. And then I saw, oh, this looks kind of cool when it became Lampant. Then it actually grew on me a lot as Litwick. And then it became Chandelure. And Chandelure is one of my favorite Ghost-type Pokemon now. It's also probably one of my favorite Fire types. The fact that it has, like, I think it has, like, base 145 or something special attack, it hits like a train, and that is very welcome to me. Okay, moving on to Dragon types. And this is where we start running into issues. Because this means that, we've had some harsh cuts previously. Some Pokemon that I absolutely adore have not made the cut, and have not been represented in this yet, and probably won't be represented. And this is where some of the hardest cuts are gonna come. But I'm also not going to lie, and I'm also not just going to change my answer to fit things in, so I'm really sorry, Haxorus, but it's Hydreigon. Hydreigon is a flawless example of a Pokemon that I both love unconditionally, and it encapsulates one of the worst issues in Gen 5. That issue obviously being the ridiculous levels for evolution, because Hydreigon still sits at the highest evolution level of any Pokemon, at 64! However, I will also say, despite this, I absolutely adore everything about Hydreigon. I love its design, I love the color, I love the coloration on it, I love how it has a really good move pool, I like its stats, I kind of like its shiny. I would hope I like its shiny because I don't know exactly how many it was. I know it was over 1,000. I think it was like 12 or 1,300. I think the number 1,344 is sticking out to me. If I remember, I'll go and check. But in Sword and Shield, I hatched so many eggs just to get a shiny Dano, so I could get a shiny Hydreigon. And I'm so happy that I have that shiny Hydreigon now. Because, well, you know what? Hydreigon isn't just my favorite dragon type in Gen 5. It's probably not even just my favorite dark type in Gen 5. Like, I will be talking more about Hydreigon later, because, you know, it's up for favorite Pokemon in Gen 5. It's up for favorite Pokemon in Pseudo Legend. So I'll talk more about Hydreigon in a bit, won't I? Okay, moving on to Dark type. And this is where we have a bit of an issue. Because, here's the thing. Despite everything I said about Scrafty earlier, Scrafty is still kinda cool, but I like Emboar more. Crocodile, already out. Crocodile is already out because we've already done Ground type and it won there. Hydreigon is already out because we already did Dragon type and won there. And that means Zoroark is the winner. I absolutely adore Zoroark. It's so cool. I wish I could actually get one in Black and White 1 normally. But you have to do like the specific event for it, and I never got to do it. Having said that, Zoroark and also Zorua also play a significant role in the actual narrative of Generation 5. And also, there's a certain joy when you're playing Black and White 2 for the first time, and you're told, in Driftvale City, hey, can you take care of this Zorua? It belonged to N. And it's like, oh, I just got N's Zorua. And then it's like, oh, this Pokemon is amazing. And also, it looks absolutely insanely cool. It's one of my favorite designs. I say that, but I love pretty much all the designs on here. Honestly, there's a lot of Pokemon designs that aren't on here, but I still adore. But yeah, Zoroark is winning for Dark type here. And that is because I feel bad giving the snub to Excadrill twice. But yeah, it's Bisharp. Bisharp is one of my favorites. The Bisharp literally wins Steel type because it could have won Dark type. And I like it more than I like Excadrill. If I was going to have a fight between them, I would pick Excadrill, because Excadrill probably wins that. but I like Bisharp a whole bunch. It's one of my favorites. It's one of my favorites in my playthrough that I just finished earlier this week. Actually, by the time this goes up, it'll have been like a week ago, but whatever. I had Ieyasu the Bisharp, and that was one of my favorite Pokemon to use in that playthrough. I absolutely adore it. And also, just a little spoiler alert for Gen 9. The existence of King Gambit in Gen 9 made me appreciate Bisharp so much more. And also I can now use Eviolite Bisharp, so I guess that's a blessing in disguise. Because I like Bisharp so much more than I like King Gambit, it's not even funny. And then Escavalier isn't bad. I don't dislike it, but I'm kind of just meh on it. Klinklang, I used it once, it served its purpose. Ferrothorn is absolutely just a wall. I do like it in that regard, but I don't ever want to use one on a team. And these two are out for legendaries, and Durant was already picked for bug types. Okay, moving on to fairy type. Whimsicott wins by default. Because of course it does. Like, it's Cottonee or Whimsicott. It's, do you want the evolved one or the unevolved one? I will have it credit where it's due. It has a cool shiny. I like the shiny. But yeah, Whimsicott kind of just wins by default in that regard. And now we move on to the starter Pokemon. So, if I'm going off middle evolutions, Duot wins. Final evolutions, I think Emboar probably wins. First evolutions, I think Oshawott wins. However, it's basically like a dead heat between all of them. Okay, gimmick forms. Well, there's only two, and it's Mega Ordino or Gigantamax Garbodor. I like Gigantamax Garbodor, partially because it's funny that this Pokemon that got memed on and joked about for so long actually got one, and a whole bunch of, fan favorites didn't. But what makes it even funnier is the fact that there's been two, massive form change, I guess, gameplay mechanics. There's been Mega Evolutions and there's been Gigantamaxes, there's been Mega Evolutions and there's been Gigantamaxes. And there's something I find incredibly funny about how Gen 5 Pokemon just only get one with each of them. I find that so funny. I don't know why. That, and I think it's kind of fun how the one person who has a Gigantamax Garbodor in-game is like the incredibly stressed lady. I don't know why I find the fact that Oleana has a Gigantamax Garbodor so funny. But I think it's just because it's such an antithesis of what she appears like. I think that's just kind of fun. Anyway, moving on to legendary Pokemon. And I'll be honest, this is not all that tough of a decision. Although, credit where it's due, Genesect is really cool. And Victini is kind of cute, I like Victini. And the last playthrough I did really brought Cobalion up in my expectations. But it always comes back to Reshiram and Zekrom. And personally, I have to look at this the same way I looked at buying the games for the first time. So, I looked at the games day one. I looked at the games and I knew before I bought them which one I was getting. The first day, I knew the game was coming out and I knew I was getting it on release day. And I went for Pokemon Black because I wanted to get Reshiram. I've always liked Reshiram more than Zekrom. And I think it just looks cooler, and also, to this day, the only shiny Pokemon, the only shiny legendary Pokemon that I have actually found. And honestly, I probably couldn't ask for a better shiny to find. Especially because it was just a completely random chance. Let me just quickly before I end, I will quickly set the scene for you for this. So, it is a Friday afternoon while I'm in high school. Technically, like, 6th form, but whatever. And I had 3 periods all that afternoon, but for some reason they were just like, no, you have to stay. Yeah, you don't have any lessons this afternoon, but no, you should stay. So I sat, and I was just playing Pokemon. You know, play Pokemon with one hand, doing my homework with the other, as you do. And I'm resetting, because I want to get good IVs on this Reshiram. Because, you know, I'm resetting the Hoopa rings to get in, what's it called? I think it's Fabled Cave, to basically get Reshiram. And here I am, resetting, and eventually, it just drops. And I just stare at it for a second, while I mentally comprehend the fact that a full odds shiny Reshiram has just dropped into my game. And then I had the panic of a lifetime, as I had to try to catch this Pokemon while my DS was on red charge. It's just like, oh no, focus mode has been engaged. Also, because I refuse to use the Master Ball. That's kind of a sticking point to it. So yeah, to this day, Reshiram also holds a very special place to me as a legendary Pokemon. And with that is Generation 5 complete. Gen 5 easily one of my favorite gens in terms of its dex. Like, I think, and I'm very happy with pretty much all of these picks. I don't think there's, I'm kind of going back and forth between Duart and Samurott, but otherwise, I don't have any real doubt about any of the picks I've made for this one. So, with that, actually maybe start it, because that could go to Tepig. If I'm feeling really fancy on any given day, it could even go to Snivy. But anyway, with that, I'm going to end this one off here, because we've now completed Generation 5, and next time we arrive at Generation 6, X and Y, where I will probably start talking about X and Y and how I actually really like those games. But that is a story for next time. So, I'm going to end this one off here. Feel free to leave a comment or click any of the ones down below if you feel so inclined, and I will hopefully see you all next time, where we head to Kalos for Generation 6. Okay, thanks for watching. Later.